Hi, so today I wanted to explain a little bit of why it is I don't have multiple YouTube channels. So I've been getting people asking me recently in messages, why don't you make a different channel for these types of videos? They don't belong on the main channel. And the thing that I find particularly interesting about a lot of these messages is that every single one of them differs in the scope of what it is they're saying doesn't belong on the main channel, which is something that is one of the reasons that I've never created multiple channels, because I never had a specific purpose as specific content that I was going to put on this channel. If you look, the channel's name is not Louis Rossman Teaches Philosophy, Louis Rossman Rants, Louis Rossman's Electronics Repair, or it's none of that. It's just my name, because the original purpose of this channel, as funny as it may sound, was actually therapy. I talk into a camera, and if there's something that I feel weird saying on camera, if there's something that I'm not comfortable saying, knowing that the world will hear it, then there's a good chance that I'm full of shit, or that what I'm saying makes no sense, and it allows me to analyze what I said, or analyze what I thought, and then figure out if that actually makes sense. And one of the things I've noticed since I started creating YouTube content is that I feel like I live a more rational and sustainable life. And that was the main reason I actually started doing this. So I mean, if anything, if anything, the purpose of this channel was always therapy. But what I wound up doing, right after I did some of the first few videos, which were just kind of meh, I did a video on resellerratings.com. So the video that really started getting me, like let's say 3 or 5 people subscribing a week, which back then was a lot for me, was that resellerratings.com video where I'm talking about a review website that was trying to extort people. So it was interesting to me when I see people sending me stuff like, hey, these Yelp videos should go on another channel. We're not interested in hearing about Yelp. I didn't subscribe to hear about Yelp. Well, I'm okay with that. But when I hear your channel is not supposed to be about Yelp extorting people for money and stuff like that, really? Because the first video that I did that got linked to, that got 100,000 plus views in a short period of time, that brought a viewership to me, was a video where I'm talking about a review website that is extorting its users. I mean, that... and then I'll have people saying stuff like, listen, I think you need to put these soldering videos somewhere else. Repairs are not what this channel is about to me. And I'm like, I don't know what to say. I really don't. Like when I did that, I remember 3 years ago when I did a video on how to solder an LED driver and how to replace, or 2 years ago where I did a video on how to replace a 0402 component without a microscope and without a hot air station. I had people saying, this is not what I came here to watch. Again, I don't know what to say. So I don't really have a definition as to what this channel was supposed to be. So I discuss things that go on in business. I discuss my thoughts on business. I discuss my thoughts on philosophy, and I discuss my thoughts on life. And I also film my job, which are repairs. But yeah, I mean, in terms of separating it, what does belong on the main channel? That would be my real question, because for the people who say it's not supposed to be repair videos, well, I have a large following from the repair videos, and who say it's not supposed to be about other online websites, review sites, or business. Again, that's a big part of what I talk about. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know how I would split that up. Now, I've thought about things like, let's say I take the rants off this channel because rants don't belong here, and I move them to a new channel, right? Well, then I kind of feel like I'm doing a disservice to the people who watch this stuff, because some of those rants are very, very relevant. The rant on the idea that somebody in the electronics repair business should not misrepresent their skill set to their customers, I feel like that's a very relevant video for people who are learning a new skill set. So if you're watching these board repair videos, there's a very good chance that you don't know how to do board repair, meaning that you may not have a large skill set. I want you to watch that video on not misrepresenting your skill set to your customers. That is a very relevant rant. If you're somebody who's learning, even if it's not electronics repair, if it's something else in IT or whatever it is you're doing, if you work for 12 hours a day in your given field and you fail that day, what is going to make you more likely to come to work tomorrow with a positive attitude? When you go home and you spend 5 hours on, your uncle's, cousin's, sister's stuff for free because you're family when that person hasn't spoken to you in 5 years? Or when you go home and you spend time with your friends and your girlfriend and the people that care about you and you have a really good time? What's going to make you more likely to come to work tomorrow ready to succeed, ready to learn, with confidence and a smile on your face? The latter. So that rant I did on why that Dell is still in slot M3 was a very relevant rant to the people who watch this stuff, in my opinion. And, you know, there are videos where people are like, listen, that IT specialist can suck my dick rant really doesn't belong here. I remember that got like Eli the computer guy retweeted that. That rant was very the rant on IT specialists and the whole idea that if you're doing this for a living that you shouldn't just specialize in one specific thing or call yourself a specialist when in fact you're not a specialist, you're a self-proclaimed specialist. The whole idea that you should have a general understanding of how technology works if you work in technology, that is a very fucking relevant rant to a lot of people that watch this stuff. And how you deal with it, how you deal with these people, how you deal with these contractors so that you don't lose your mind, you don't get in trouble, and you get to collect a check at the end of the day, I feel like that's very, very relevant. So I post that stuff. And the other thing the other reason here is actually, believe it or not, strategic. I understand that on YouTube, people want to watch a channel. And when they watch that channel, what I find, at the very least from the research I've done and watching other people's videos in the subject and watching much larger channels talk about the subject, is that people on YouTube want to see the predictable stuff on a specific channel. So when, you know, again, when they go to a channel, they want to pretty much know what they're getting. I'm not saying that they're going to know the exact jokes or the exact plot or everything, but they kind of want to know what type of content they're getting. I do very much so the opposite of that. And the reason for that is very simple. A lot of people say that some of the things that I do are to get views and because I care about views and subscribers. But when I do videos that get really widespread attention, so for example, like the reseller ratings video, like the Yelp extortion video, like the Apple Error 53 video, like the Tier 4 $750 repair video, like the recent Linus reballing, reflowing, whatever video, I get an influx of views and an influx of subscribers. And you may think that's good. You may think that's great. I get more views and that's just happy and great. And I see that as a negative. Hear me out here. The reason that this is negative is because I wind up getting a large influx of people coming to view the content who don't understand the story, who are not the intended audience of the content, who are not the people that are actually going to be helped by the content, who are not the people who are going to understand the content. They're not going to get where I'm coming from. They're not going to understand the context. And as a result of not understanding the context, it is wasted on them. So when I do this, I may get an influx of subscribers. Again, when I did that Yelp video, I got a lot of subscribers. When I did the Error 53 video, I got a lot of subscribers. When I did that $750 Tier 4 repair, I got tons of subscribers. And I got probably 3,000 new subscribers just from that Linus and reballing and reflowing is BS whole video series. And the thing is this, that's not a good thing. For me, that's not a good thing. For somebody whose living is made on YouTube, getting a bunch of new subscribers and viewers every day is a great thing. For me, trying to tell a story or trying to explain concepts to a specific audience of people, that is a bad thing. When I did the Error 53 video, I got a lot of comments on that saying, you know, a lot of people who subscribed from that video, who followed up on other videos, were like, this guy is just mad. He's pissed off that Apple took away his business of replacing iPhone home buttons. iPhone home button repair is something that I have not advertised in over 3 fucking years. And then when I see like he's pissed off because he's losing money on iPhone screen repair. My business doesn't offer iPhone screen repair. It doesn't. And or like after the Yelp video, there was some comments going, he's just pissed off that he's losing business because of all the bad reviews on his Yelp page. That's why he's pissed off. And again, you don't follow the story of the business, because if you looked at the Yelp page, if you looked at the Google Plus page I have a couple of spam reviews every now and then, some BS, but for the most part, it's not like my Yelp page or my Google Plus page is not actually going to lose me business when somebody looks at it. And with the Linus video recently, so this is another good example. Now I'm getting comments in my old videos. There's a video I did a year ago on why you shouldn't try to fix a PCH with a heat gun when the issue is R7402 was open, therefore not causing CPU vCore to work. If you're a core subscriber to the channel and you understand the content, you understand the point I'm making there. If you're not a core, my core demographic, you may make a comment like, he's pissed off because Linus took away the money that he was making fixing desktop graphics cards. And the reason that's one of the most silly things I've ever heard is because not only have I never offered desktop graphics card repair over the course of my life, I don't even have a working desktop graphics card and the computer being used to record this fucking video. I'll link to it right here. You can see a tour. I have 2 fans being held in by Cat 5 cable because I don't, in front of my graphics card, because if it goes over 50 Celsius, it dies. Not only do I not fix desktop graphics cards for other people, I don't even fix them for me. So it's one of those things where I want people watching the content who are the core audience, who are the people that this stuff is intended for, who are the people that are going to understand it. And that doesn't mean that I don't want people to disagree with the content. That doesn't mean that I don't want people here who disagree with what I have to say. If Erica Lynn or Elizabeth L. or Tony Tone or Sean Hicks or D Weenie or Astroman or Ashish Sarista, I'm probably mispronouncing his name, or AR Jasso or any one of the other regular commenters whose name I'm very sorry I forgot. I know I'd know it if I saw it. But if any of those people watch the content and say, Lewis, this is bullshit, I disagree and here's why, I'm totally cool with that because they understand my perspective. They understand what I'm trying to accomplish, they understand where I'm coming from, and their question or criticism is going to make sense in context with what I'm trying to do. But when you have stuff like, again, when you have the new people come in who say things like, you're pissed off because reseller ratings is taking away from your own review site, it's just like, what? Or when I see a comment like, you're just pissed off that you have 20 new bad reviews on Yelp and you're blaming their extortion system. And it's like, my last 10 reviews are actually good. Or you're pissed off because people, again, it doesn't make sense. It's not in context with what I'm trying to do. So it makes no sense. And the thing is, if I were doing this content for views, for subscribers, I wouldn't really care. But what I notice happening is that when somebody subscribes because of that one video, and then they see everything else I have to do, and it's different, they unsubscribe. And what I notice is that it actually keeps away the people that are not my core demographic, that are not my main subscriber base. Like, Sean Hicks is not going to unsubscribe because I upload a video on how to fix a phone system. AR Jasso is not going to unsubscribe because I talk about the Dell that's in slot M3, you know? And it's not about having people who are fans, who are just blind fans, because that, to be honest with you, that kind of creeps me out as well. When I get 40 or 70 comments in a row from somebody who agrees with everything I've ever said, I don't know, I just find, with all the different opinions that I have, you've got to disagree with something eventually. Like, when I get, I'm happy when I get comments from people like Astroman that are like, usually you're right, but your explanation here is completely wrong, and here's why. I like that stuff. I like the fact that people are actually criticizing and engaging with it, who understand what I'm talking about. But, yeah, when it comes to things like views and subscribers, how many people on YouTube do you know that not only ask you to unsubscribe, don't ask you to like the content, don't ask you to subscribe, but also strategically put up content in a specific fashion to keep new subscribers from wanting to be subscribed? How many people do you know on YouTube that are doing that? So when it comes to the argument of views, I am after views from the people who need this content. And I've had people say that, this is a really silly thing that I'm saying. There's no way in hell that you're actually purposely doing this in order to get rid of potential subscribers. There's no way in hell that you're actually putting all your content on one channel because because you would lose the subscribers or shed the ones that you don't want. That doesn't make sense. You're losing money. And all I would do, and I probably shouldn't do stuff like this but whatever. There are so many things to troll this channel on at this point that I feel like discussing money is really just a small one. So if I log into QuickBooks and I click on my reports here, come on, Time Warner, shitty internet. Okay, reports. So it looks like this year gross profit, and keep in mind that at the end of every week I go through this and I remove duplicate invoices and I make sure everything's correct. I haven't done that yet. So this may be a tiny bit off. So gross profit for this year so far is gross profit meaning before expenses. So this is not what I get to keep. Don't you people start on me. So gross revenue is $167,840, right? And YouTube ad revenue is $3,098. So if I go to a percentage calculator, because it's far too early in the morning for me to actually do real math, my YouTube revenue, it makes up 1.84%. 1.84% of my business's total gross revenue. Yet it takes up hours of time every day. If I were to put the amount of time that I put into YouTube into anything else in my business, I would sincerely hope that it made more than 1.84% of my gross revenue if I spent hours on it a day. So this really is a passion project. This is something I do because I enjoy helping the people that are working at the crappy franchises. I enjoy helping the people that are working at the shitty reverse logistics companies that want to make some money for themselves. I enjoy helping the people who were in the same situation that I was in when I talk about the Dell that's an S-Lot M3, who then feel more empowered to create more sustainable living situations for themselves as a result of listening to this stuff. This is a passion project. This is something that I do for fun. And when it comes, and the revenue split really just, this really puts it into context for me when I actually see the numbers on paper. I mean, even if I were to do some ridiculous, crazy, view-whoring, video like Dear Fat People or something, even if I were to do something ridiculous, and I got 4 times as many subscribers, and assuming that I got the 4 times as many subscribers equaled 4 times as much revenue, which it doesn't always, then YouTube would account for what, 7% of my gross revenue? It's still such a small percentage that it doesn't even matter. Again, I've probably paid more money in Con Edison electric bills this year than I have made from fucking YouTube. And yeah, I mean, when it comes to stuff like that, I really like the idea of having people here who understand the context, who understand the story. And I actually do like knowing that when I put up these videos that are slightly different than the ones that I've done before, that I'm shedding the subscribers that I gained that I probably shouldn't have gained. I admit, when something like when that video on Area 53 came out, I got a lot of people that probably just blindly hit subscribe that are not compatible with the content I do at all, that have no idea where I'm coming from, no interest in figuring out where I'm coming from. And the same probably happened with that Linus video. Like, I gained maybe 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers inside of 2 days. And I would venture to say that while a lot of those people are people who are genuinely interested in the content, a lot of them are people that probably shouldn't be here. Again, when I get sounded saying, I love your content, but it looks like you're pissed off that you're not making money fixing desktop graphics cards anymore, it's like, again, the silliest shit I've ever heard. I'm totally okay with the idea of shedding those as subscribers because, again, even if I were to make a lot more money, it's still such a small percentage of what my business actually makes that it's just inconsequential. And it's worth it to me to not have that diluted audience. I like the idea of, when I do those videos, seeing the comments from people that are like, I don't understand why it is you're discussing Yelp on this channel. That has nothing to do with it. Goodbye. Okay. And the other thing I'd like to talk about here is how often I'm told that I'm doing YouTube, quote unquote, wrong. So again, I'm told that you're supposed to have a microphone that you can't see. And as Eli says, I have a grape in front of my face, and that grape is sitting on what looks like a broken coat hanger. So this is a DPA 4065 that Zapro DK sent to me. It was broken, the port was fucked up, this whole thing. It looked like a coat hanger, and I had to bend it back into place. So you're supposed to have an invisible microphone. I have a coat hanger. You're supposed to have a great backdrop or a green screen. You're supposed to do the videos with a nice backdrop that you set up in your home. I have acoustic panels that look funny and an extension cord with tape on it. You're supposed to put effort into scripting your content or have a specific goal in mind for exactly what you're going to talk about for each section of the video. And that's one of those things where I actually thought, let me experiment with some of this stuff. And one of the reasons I did that video with Linus, I turned down doing this I turned down doing this thing. It was a very structured stand-up comedy routine, and something just told me that it wasn't going to be compatible with what I do. I got a call in August of last year from somebody asking if I would like to show up and actually get paid to do this scripted stand-up comedy routine, and it was something in Canada. And I said no, and I felt kind of silly about the fact that I said no. Afterwards, I really regretted not taking the opportunity to try something new. And what I realized from the content that I did with Linus, and again, I don't hate him. I don't dislike him. I dislike the myth of reballing. I dislike the myth of reflowing. All that. I hate the myth. I don't hate the guy. But when I did the content with him, I realized the way that he does his content, I'm going to talk about what we're going to record, then we're going to record it, then we're going to stop, then I'm going to talk about what we're going to record, then I'm going to record it, then I'm going to stop. I figured out that when I watched I didn't know how I felt about it while I was doing it, but when I actually watched the video that came out, I'm staring at this like, this is probably some of the worst content I've ever fucking put up on the internet. And I mean that as no way as an insult to him. It's just when I look at that, it's like, this is not the way I do content. Thank God I turned down that offer from 8 months ago that I felt weird about. I didn't understand why I felt weird about it. But it's just, when you do things that are not the way that you used to do, when you do things, I shouldn't say not the way you used to, when you do things that are not kind of compatible with how you do things, it doesn't matter if that's the way everybody else is doing it. It's not going to work for you. That format works so well for Linus. He is kicking ass and so successful with the format that he uses for his content. I was so baffled and taken aback, like, what the hell is going on here? It was just so fucking weird and foreign to me. And when I do content, let's say like with Jessa, with the mailbag, the drunken mailbag reading, there are a lot of people that didn't like it. There are a lot of people that did, but I can look back on that and say, I like that content. I enjoyed doing that content. I thought it was pretty cool. When people say you're not supposed to have not scripted content and people hate it, that's fine. They can hate it. But when I look back on the stuff like, why is that Dell in M3? When I look at content like IT specialist can suck my dick, when I look back on the 2-hour board repair that had Sharky talking in the beginning of it before running 20 wires on the board that had no backlight, I can look back on that content and kind of smile. So the point I'm trying to get across here, and I'm probably doing a really poor job of, is that you should do things the way that you see fit to do them. Because when you do things in a totally different manner, when you totally change your vision, when you abandon your vision, when you abandon your ideas, and you fail, that's a seriously bad feeling of failure. When you fail trying to do what it is you believe would be best, or when you fail in the pursuit of your vision, even if you fail, you can say, well, it didn't work, but at least I tried. But if I change everything about how I do content and I fail, that's a really shitty feeling, man. That's a really, really crappy feeling when you actually abandon how it is you want to do things and then you fail. And the thing I have to say here, again, I do all of this stuff wrong. Again, I got the coat hanger with the grape hanging off of it. I don't script anything. My backdrop sucks. I don't put effort into effects. I don't put effort into editing. I don't have separate topics on separate channels. I do everything on YouTube wrong. Yet, I started at 3 subscribers a week, then 3 subscribers a day, then 5 subscribers a day, then 10 subscribers a day, then 30 subscribers a day. Last summer, I was getting 100 subscribers a day. Last December, I was getting 200 subscribers a day. In January, I was getting 250 subscribers a day. And all these comments I'm getting from people, it's like, I watch this stuff even though I don't fix electronics. I don't get that. I get people saying, I love these business ethics videos. I don't run a business or anything like that. And to me, I'm just thinking to myself, why are you watching this? I don't understand why you're watching this if the content has it doesn't have an effect or is not really related to what you're doing. I don't get it. But my point here is I'm doing YouTube all wrong. According to all the ways all the people that do YouTube say you're supposed to do YouTube, I'm doing it wrong. Yet, while I'm doing it wrong, I'm following my vision, and every single month, the number goes up. Even with a concentrated strategy that I use to get rid of people who are not necessarily the core demographic, the core audience, or the core subscribers to my content. Even with a strategy to shed those people, every single month, the subscriber number goes up. So, I don't see a reason to change the ways that I do things without a legitimately good reason. So one of the things I've thought about doing is creating an off-the-cuff channel for things that really don't belong here, like, my cat ripping apart my apartment or something like that. I understand where that doesn't really belong here. But for the rest of the stuff, again, like, I believe the rant on Yelp and extortion, the rant on reseller ratings, IT specialists can suck my dick, VCCIO versus VCore, and why is that Dell and M3? That all belongs on this channel. That's all a part of what this channel was supposed to be about, and I just don't plan on getting rid of that stuff. So I understand if people don't want to see that in their feed, but again, I was never trying to be successful on YouTube. I never put effort into being successful on YouTube. I'm doing everything the exact opposite of how I'm supposed to be doing it, and yet things just keep going up. So I really don't see why I would abandon the vision that I had for what I'm doing when A, I never even tried to be a YouTube person, and B, I'm without trying. Oh, I can't believe these words are exiting my mouth. But at 50,000 subscribers, I'm becoming a YouTube personality. And that's all I have to say for today. So that's it.